Hey, what's up everybody? Justin Myers back here with another video for y'all. So in today's video, I was just playing through my 68 100 watt Plexi. Absolutely love this amp. It is one of my favorite amps, if not my favorite amp, absolutely hands down. The Plexi amp just in general is just my favorite amp. It cleans up so well with the guitar volume knob. There's so many things that are just so wonderful about it, and I'm going to talk more about it in this video. But before I go on with this video, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and drop a comment down below with what you guys think. I love hearing from y'all. And also, if y'all would like to show your support for the channel, I have a Venmo and PayPal tip jar. Thank you. Now on with this video here. So, in the first playing segment there, I was just playing through my 64 SG Standard with the original pickups and original electronics, and I was plugged up into my 68 100 watt Marshall Plexi. Now this is just absolutely, as I was saying, one of my favorite amps. It is so loud, but it is just beautiful sounding. And I had that amp going into my Bogner 212 cabinet, which I personally feel that the Bogner cabinets are the best sounding modern cabinets that you can actually get. They are just built like a tank. They are just amazing. They are almost the size of a 412. So that's kind of one compromise and one thing that you have to be willing to work with. But the tone of these cabinets, they just sound amazing. And I have old Celestion 65 speakers in there, and the speaker was just double mic'd with a Royer 121 and a Shure SM57, so that was just double mic'd, so that's exactly what you're hearing. And it just sounds amazing. Like I say, these Plexi amps, they clean up so well with the guitar volume knob, and they are super clean. And a little trick that you can do with a Plexi is that if you take a treble booster, you can actually get it to sound very close to an actual Vox, which is really cool. It's kind of a cool little trick that I like to use whenever I'm using a Plexi and I'm trying to get it to get a little more chimey. I mean, it is very chimey in its own right, but to get it more like a Vox, you can hit it with the treble booster and really get that chiminess, that real kind of Voxy thing. And you know, it's another way you could use a Marshall. Really cool little trick that I use all the time. And but even without a treble booster, you know, I like to plug straight into the amp and just turn it up and go. I do like to use a little bit of a boost, and that's also something that I did in that first playing segment there, is I hit the GE7 by Boss, just the front end, just to get a little bit more gain out of it for the leads and to get a little more mid-range, to just really poke out and really jump out and get a little more under the fingers. Just feels good when you're playing a Plexi to just have a little light boost to just really kind of drive it a little more and really set it off the top, you know. And then I also kicked on a little bit of a delay from a Strymon Brigadier delay. Just had the mix down real low. That's kind of another thing with playing a Plexi amp, is that if you are running a delay, because there's no effects loop, I mean, I never use that kind of stuff anyways, but for other players, a lot of guys like to use these effects loops where you can run a delay pedal into the effects loop and you can get the gain off of the amp, and the delay is not affected by the gain off of the amp. Well, with a Plexi amp, there's no effects loop, so you just plug straight into the amplifier. So when you're plugged up with a delay pedal, you have to kind of mess around with the mix knob and kind of find that little sweet spot where the delay is not going to run away from you with the gain coming off of the amp, but it's still musical sounding and still can kind of sit in the background of your guitar playing and not get in the way of all the notes that you're playing and the chords and stuff. So it's kind of something that you have to kind of dial up. But this Drum Brigadier, I had the mix on like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, somewhere in there. So, you know, it's set down pretty light and pretty low, but it's a nice little effect. You know, it's a nice little echo in the background when you're playing your leads, or if you're hitting a big chord on a chorus or something. You know, you can get the repeats to kind of sit behind the guitar and get this nice wide kind of guitar tone. And that's always something that I really go for. So I really like this Strymon Brigadier, or just a delay in general that has a little bit of modulation or something. You know, just to be able to really dial it back. That's my big criteria with the delay pedal, by the way, is how well does it sit behind the guitar? Does it get in the way? Is it too, you know, pronounced? Is it too much delay? Because it can really get annoying. And I like to be able to hear every note in the chord, or if I'm playing a solo, it's really important. But anyways, to me, the Plexi is just the perfect amount of gain. You know, there's so many amps out there now that just have way too much gain, and you lose a lot of that note clarity. You lose a lot of that, as I was saying, you know, with playing a nice big chord. You know, if you're playing even like a major 7 chord or something, you know, I want all of those intervals, all of those notes in the chords to really be able to be heard when I'm playing through a guitar amp. Some of these amps now are so high gain, and there's all these switches and all this stuff. Like, just give me a Plexi. It's very simple. It's, you know, I mean, how many knobs are even on it here? You know, 6 knobs, and it has, you know, 2 channels that I just jumper as well. So that's the thing with these Plexi amps too that I would mention, is there's 2 channels here. There's the normal and the bright channel. And on these, I like to bridge the 2. So I'll take a patch cable and I'll show you a close-up of exactly how I had this amp set up here. But the way that I like to do it is I like to bridge both of the channels together, and then I plug up into the top input of the channel 1 there. And again, I'll show you a close-up of this here. But what's cool with doing it this way is that there's 2 volumes. There's the bright volume and then the normal volume, which the normal volume, you're gonna get a lot more low end, a lot more bass. So you kind of just blend the 2 volumes together, and you kind of get this perfect combination of each channel. So you just dial it up. You don't want to set the normal channel too high because it gets real tubby and a lot of low end and stuff. So I kind of just dial that in to taste, but crank that normal side up, or not the normal side, the bright side up. Crank it up to get the gain and to really drive it. And so you kind of just find this like little sweet spot with it, and it just sounds incredible. And especially with like a Bogner cabinet, with old Celestion 65 speakers, or Celestion greenbacks would be another really great option I really like with a Plexi amp. These are just amazing sounding speakers and just a great combination. So now I'm going to show a close-up of the actual amp and show you the whole setup and what I had going on here. All right, guys, so now I'm going to share with you a close-up of this 68 100 watt Plexi here. So as I was saying, there's 6 knobs here, very simple, but there's 2 channels. So you just got a 3-band EQ and a presence knob, and then you have the volume 1 and the volume 2. So as I was saying, I jumper both of those inputs there, the bottom input from channel 1 and the top input from channel 2, and then I plug the guitar into channel 1, the top input there, and then I blend in both of these volumes to taste. So this is exactly where I had those set. The volume 1 is the brighter side and the volume 2 is the darker side. And you really just drive that volume 1 to get more gain and more top end out of it. And I normally drop the bass all the way down, mid-range up, treble up, and the presence up there. And that is really it. I mean, it is so simple to use these amps. They just sound amazing. As I say, the Plexi will always be one of my favorite amps, if not my favorite amp, Just depends on what I'm going for exactly, but it's just so versatile and so flexible. You can really get anything out of these amps. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it as always. You all be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and drop a comment down below. And guys, thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Y'all take care.